The door creaked open at midnight and there she was, Sophie, framed in the hallway light like a ghost from my half-forgotten dreams, her silhouette cutting through the humid summer air that clung to my skin. I sat up in bed, heart slamming against my ribs, because Mom had sworn this sleepover was just a favor, old friends helping out during the blackout, not this electric pull that made the room feel too small, too charged with what-ifs. And then she whispered my name, Chloe, like it was a secret she had carried across state lines, and in that single syllable everything I had buried deep inside cracked wide open. I froze, clutching the edge of the quilt as if it could anchor me to the girl I used to be, the one who baked scones at dawn and smiled politely through small talk at the coffee shop. Sophie stepped inside barefoot, her sundress rumpled from the train ride, her hair falling in waves that caught the faint glow from my bedside lamp. She paused, eyes locking on mine, dark and searching, and for a moment neither of us breathed, the silence stretching thin like the thread of a promise we hadn't made yet. Those 3 seconds felt like years, the kind where you replay every awkward family dinner, every stolen glance at holiday gatherings when our mother's laughter filled the kitchen and we lingered too long by the dessert table. Sophie was always the golden one, the girl with the sketchbook tucked under her arm, dreaming up worlds in charcoal while I measured flour and sugar, pretending my life was as simple as a perfect latte. Now here she was in my cramped Brooklyn apartment, the city humming outside like a distant lullaby, and I could smell the faint jasmine of her shampoo mixing with the stale coffee grounds on my nightstand. She closed the door softly, the click echoing in my chest. "Sorry about the late arrival," she said, her voice low and rough from the journey. "The train was a nightmare, delays everywhere." I nodded too quickly, waving her toward the air mattress I'd inflated earlier that afternoon. "It's fine, really. Mom insisted I set this up. Power outage at your place, right?" "Yeah," she sighed, dropping her duffel bag by the foot of the bed. "Dad's generator crapped out, and with the heat wave." She trailed off, rubbing her arms as if chasing away a chill that wasn't there. I watched her movements, the way her fingers traced the strap of her bag absent-mindedly, the curve of her neck as she tilted her head to survey the room. My space was a mess of half-read novels and Polaroids pinned to the wall, snapshots of Central Park in fall and rainy mornings at the cafe where I worked. Sophie fit into it somehow, like a puzzle piece I hadn't known was missing. She knelt to unzip her bag, pulling out a crumpled pillow and a sketchpad that fluttered open to a page of swirling lines, abstract emotions captured in ink. "You still draw?" she asked, glancing up at me, her lips curving just enough to soften the question. I laughed, a short breathy sound that surprised me. "Not really. Too busy with shifts. You know how it is, grinding through the days." She nodded, eyes lingering on a photo of me and Mom at Coney Island, our faces sticky with cotton candy and salt air. "You look happy there," she murmured. "Were you?" "Back then, yeah. Before the doubts started creeping in, the ones that whispered you're 25 and still pouring espresso for strangers, what's the point?" Sophie stood, stretching her arms overhead, the hem of her dress riding up just enough to reveal the freckles on her thighs. She caught me looking and held my gaze a beat too long, that spark igniting something low in my belly. "Mind if I change?" she asked, already reaching for the hem. The room was stifling, no AC, just a fan rattling in the corner. "Go ahead," I managed, my throat dry as sandpaper. "I'll step out." "No," she said quickly. "Stay. It's your room." I turned away anyway, facing the window where fireflies danced faintly over the rooftops, a rare sight in the city. Behind me, fabric whispered against skin, and I pictured her, the graceful line of her shoulders, the dip of her spine, things I'd glimpsed in memory but never dared to dwell on. When she settled onto the mattress with a soft sigh, I risked a glance. She was in shorts and a tank now, her hair piled into a loose bun, strands escaping like secrets. The blackout had plunged the neighborhood into unusual quiet, no neon buzz, just the occasional car horn slicing through. "Tell me about your latest gig," she said, propping herself on one elbow, her voice pulling me back. "The designs for that indie band poster. I remember Mom bragging about it." I sank onto the edge of the bed, knees drawn up, legs crossed at the ankles. "It's coming along. Psychedelic vibes, lots of color layers. But deadlines are killers." She chuckled, a warm sound that vibrated through the floorboards. "Sounds like my world. You ever think about getting out? Starting something bigger?" All the time I admitted the words slipping out unbidden. "But fear, you know. It's this heavy thing sitting on your chest." She reached out, then her fingers brushing my ankle, light as a feather, but it sent a jolt up my leg. "Fear gets us all," she whispered. "But staying stuck. That's the real killer." Her touch lingered, thumb tracing a small circle on my skin, and I didn't pull away. Instead, I let the warmth spread the room, narrowing to just us, the air thick with unsaid things. Sophie, I started, but she shook her head, eyes soft in the lamplight. Don't. Not yet. Just. Be here. We talked then in fits and starts, voices low against the night. About her move to Philly for the design firm, the way the city's rhythm felt both exhilarating and lonely. About my endless shifts at the cafe where the steam from the espresso machine blurred the edges of my resolve. She shared stories of late nights in her studio, paint on her hands and music blasting through headphones, while I confessed the ache of watching couples lean into each other over their morning brews, wondering if I'd ever feel that pull. Laughter bubbled up unexpectedly when she mimicked her boss' nasally complaints, and I found myself leaning closer, drawn by the crinkle at the corners of her eyes. But beneath the ease a current ran deep. Every pause stretched, pregnant with possibility, her gaze flicking to my lips, my collarbone, the way my tank clung to sweat-damp skin. I felt exposed, raw, like she could see the questions I carried, the ones about who I was meant to love, how I was supposed to know. When she yawned, stretching languidly, I stood abruptly. You should sleep. Early train back tomorrow, right? Yes, she agreed, but her voice held a reluctance that mirrored my own. As I clicked off the lamp, plunging us into darkness save for the city's faint glow, her hand found mine across the divide. Chloe, she breathed my name again like a prayer. Thanks for this. For letting me crash. Anytime, I whispered, meaning it more than I should. Her fingers squeezed once, twice, then let go, leaving my skin tingling in the afterglow. Sleep came in fragments, dreams tangled with jasmine and ink, the shape of her silhouette haunting the edges. I woke to birdsong filtering through the blinds, Sophie already stirring on the mattress, her hair a wild halo in the dawn light. She caught me watching and smiled, slow and secret. Morning, she said. Coffee. I could use some. Me too, I replied, heart stuttering as I swung my legs over the bed. But as I padded to the kitchen, the weight of last night's closeness settled in a mix of thrill and terror. What now? What happens when the lights come back on and she boards that train, leaving me with echoes? The brew gurgled and the pot steam rising like unspoken confessions. Sophie appeared in the doorway, leaning against the frame, arms crossed, casual, but her eyes intense, tracking my every move. You make the best coffee, I remembered that from summers at the lake house. Her words unlocked a memory, us as teens splashing in the water, our mothers sunbathing on the dock, oblivious to the way our splashes lingered too long, our laughs intertwined. Yeah, I said, pouring 2 mugs, careful not to spill. Black for you, right? With a hint of cinnamon if you're feeling fancy. She took the mug, our fingers brushing again, that spark leaping unbidden. Fancy sounds good, she murmured, sipping slowly, her gaze never leaving mine. The kitchen was tiny, sunlight slanting across the chipped Formica counter, highlighting the dust motes dancing between us. We stood there sipping in silence, the city waking around us, horns and shouts filtering up from the street. I wanted to ask about the touch, the words, the way her presence filled the cracks in my routine, but fear clamped down tight. Instead, I busied myself with toast, butter knife scraping rough against the bread. So Philly treating you okay, she asked, breaking the quiet. Or is it all concrete and compromise? It's different. I hedged, biting into the crust to buy time. More space to breathe in here, but the job's scarcer. I miss the energy sometimes. The chaos. She nodded, setting her mug down with a soft clink. I get that. New York's got this pulse. Hard to replicate. You ever think about visiting? Seeing my studio? The offer hung there, casual but loaded, a bridge extended over the chasm of what if. I'd love to, I said, too fast, my cheeks warming. Show me your sketches. All of them. Her laugh was soft, surprise, delight lighting her face. Deal then. Next weekend. If the power doesn't fry my brain first. We grinned at that, the ease returning like an old friend, but underneath the flutter grew insistent, a wing beat against my ribs. By the time she gathered her bag, the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the floor. Thank your mom for me, she said at the door, hugging me quick but fierce, her chin resting on my shoulder, breath warm against my ear. And Chloe. Last night. It meant something. Yeah, I whispered, hugging back tighter than necessary. It did. Drive safe. Train safe. She pulled away, eyes searching mine one last time before stepping into the hall, the door clicking shut behind her. I leaned against it, then sliding down until I sat on the cool tile, pulse racing. The apartment felt emptier, sharper without her, the air still scented with jasmine. What had just happened? A sleepover turned confession turned possibility. Mom called later, gushing about how grateful Sophie's mother was, the blackout a godsend for old friendships. I hummed agreements, my mind elsewhere, replaying touches and glances, the way her voice wrapped around my name. Days blurred after that, shifts at the cafe, a grind of frothed milk and forced smiles, customers blurring into one endless line. But Sophie lingered in the steam, in the hiss of the machine, her sketchpad haunting my breaks. I sketched idly on napkins, swirls of faces half-formed, hers mostly the curve of her jaw, the intensity of her stare. By Friday the invite burned in my pocket, a text string of plans, Philly-bound Amtrak ticket bought on impulse. The train ride was a haze of clacking rails and fleeting landscapes, suburbs giving way to fields, then the sprawl of the city. I arrived, jittery, palms damp as I navigated the station, her directions scrawled on my phone. Sophie waited at the curb, waves of blonde catching the afternoon sun, her smile breaking wide when she spotted me. "You made it," she said, pulling me into a hug that smelled of paint and possibility. "Come on. Studio's this way." Her place was a converted warehouse loft, exposed brick and high ceilings, canvases leaning against walls in chaotic beauty. She led me through sunlight pouring through skylights, dust motes swirling like stars. "This is it," she gestured, grandly but shy. "Mess and all." "It's perfect," I breathed, tracing a finger over a half-finished poster, vibrant swirls of color that pulled me in. "Like you." We spent the afternoon like that, her showing me works in progress, me asking questions that led to stories, laughter echoing off the beams. She brewed tea, chamomile with honey, and we sat cross-legged on the floor, sketchpads open, trading doodles, silly at first, then deeper portraits, eyes that held too much truth. When our knees brushed, neither pulled away the contact, a quiet anchor. Evening crept in, shadows lengthening as we ordered pizza, grease and cheese a comfort against the cooling air. We ate on the fire escape, city lights twinkling below, her leg pressed warm against mine. "Tell me something real," she said, passing me a slice, sauce dripping onto the cardboard. "Something you're scared to say." I hesitated, the words tangling. "I'm scared that this, whatever it is, feels too big too soon. Like I'll wake up and it'll be gone." She set her slice down, turning to face me fully, her hand finding my cheek, thumb stroking soft. "Then let's not wake up," she whispered, leaning in slow enough for me to stop it if I wanted. But I didn't. Our lips met, tentative, then sure, a spark blooming into flame, the world narrowing to the taste of her, the press of her body yielding, soft and insistent. When we broke apart, breathless, she rested her forehead against mine. "Stay tonight. Please." I nodded, words failing, as she led me inside to her bed, a nest of blankets and pillows overlooking the skyline. We undressed in the dark, hands exploring with reverence, mapping scars and curves, whispers of "you feel like home." Sleep came, tangled limbs and steady breaths, her heartbeat a lullaby against my chest. Morning brought coffee and croissants from the bakery downstairs, eaten at her drafting table, plans spilling out, weekend markets, art walks, a stolen day in the city. But as we walked hand in hand through Rittenhouse Square, leaves crunching underfoot, a shadow fell. Her phone buzzed, insistent, a call from home, her mother's voice tinny with worry. "Soft, the outage is over, but Dad's not great. Chest pains. Come back soon." The drive was tense, highways blurring past, her knuckles white on the wheel, my hand on her thigh, a silent support. We reached the lake house by dusk, the same one from our youth, now shadowed by worry. Her parents greeted us at the door, embraces tight, questions tumbling. Sophie explained my presence casual, a friend from the city, but her mother's eyes sharpened, glancing between us. "Chloe dear, it's been ages. Stay for dinner." The meal was strained, small talk over roast chicken, her father pale but jovial, insisting he was fine, just indigestion. Sophie picked at her food, worry etching lines around her mouth. I squeezed her foot under the table, our secret touch a lifeline. Later, as rain pattered against the window, she pulled me onto the porch swing, the night air cool and heavy. "He's scared," she admitted, voice breaking. "And am terrified of losing him. Of everything changing." I wrapped my arms around her, holding tight as she shook, silent sobs muffled against my shoulder. "It's okay," I murmured, rocking gently. "You're not alone." We sat like that until the storm passed, stars peeking through clouds, her breathing evening out. "Thank you," she whispered, pulling back to kiss me, soft and grateful. "For being here. For seeing me." The next day's blurred hospital visits and hushed conversations, her father stabilizing but the scare lingering like smoke. I extended my stay, calling in favors at work, mom understanding with her knowing smile. Sophie and I carved moments amid the chaos, walks along the shore, hands linked, fingers intertwined, talks that peeled back layers, dreams deferred and hopes rekindled. One evening as fireflies lit the dusk, she spread a blanket by the water, pulling me down beside her. "Remember when we were kids?" she asked, head on my lap, fingers tracing patterns on my knee. "Chasing these, thinking they were magic." "Yeah," I said, threading my fingers through her hair. "They still are." She sat up, eyes shimmering. "You're my magic, Chloe. This. Us. I didn't expect it, but I want it. All of it. The kiss that followed was deeper, hungrier, hands roaming under shirts, skin hot against skin. We made love there under the stars, waves lapping gentle rhythm to our gasps and sighs, the world fading to just us entwined and alive. Back in Brooklyn the rhythm shifted, but the pull remained a tether across miles. Texts flew daily, hers laced with sketches, quick lines capturing a coffee spill or a sunset over the Schuylkill mine, photos of steam rising from mugs or the chaos of rush hour. Mom noticed the glow in my cheeks, the way I hummed while frothing milk, teasing me gently about some mystery bow. It's nothing, I deflected, cheeks burning, but inside the truth bloomed warm and wild. Sophie visited first, a weekend stolen from schedules, her train pulling in on a crisp autumn Friday. I met her at Penn Station, weaving through crowds, our reunion, a crush of bodies and laughter, her bag slung over one shoulder, mine forgotten in the haste of hello kisses stolen in the throng. We walked the High Line, leaves turning gold underfoot, her arm looped through mine, commentary on graffiti and skyline, a bubble of us amid the bustle. Dinner was Thai takeout, eaten on my fire escape, lanterns strung haphazardly casting flickering light. She fed me bites of pad CEW noodles dangling teasingly, her eyes dancing with mischief. Your trouble, I accused, licking sauce from my lips, her gaze darkening. Good kind, she replied, leaning in to kiss it away slow and thorough. The night unfolded lazy tangled sheets and whispered confessions, her body a map I learned by touch, the arch of her back, the soft sounds she made when I traced her ribs. Saturday dawned, rainy streets slick with promise. We braved the Met, umbrellas bumping shoulders, brushing in crowded galleries. She lingered at the Impressionists, Monet's lilies, a riot of color that mirrored the chaos in my chest. This is how I feel, she said, hand squeezing mine. Blurred edges but beautiful. Vibrant. I nodded, throat tight, pulling her close in the hush of the hall, our foreheads touching, a private vow amid the masterpieces. Afternoon found us in Washington Square Park, rain easing to mist, performers juggling for coins. We joined a drum circle, impromptu rhythm pulsing through us, hips swaying, laughter bubbling free. Sophie spun me dizzying steps, her hands on my waist guiding strong and sure. When the circle broke we collapsed onto wet grass, breathless, her head on my chest listening to my heart. I could stay like this forever, she murmured. Just us and the beat. But evening's edge brought the call, her boss frantic about a deadline pitch gone awry. She paced the apartment, phone to ear, voice sharp with frustration. I'll fix it, she snapped, hanging up with a sigh that deflated her. Deadlines, they never stop. I brewed tea, chamomile again, her favorite, pulling her onto the couch, legs tangled. You will, she said, rubbing my calf. You always do. But what if I don't? What if I burn out? Her vulnerability cracked me open, words spilling unfiltered. Then you pivot. Like you always talk about. Chase the thing that lights you up. Not the grind. She looked at me, then really looked, eyes searching deep. And you? What's lighting you up, Chloe? Lately, I admitted, voice soft. You. This. Us. Her smile was slow, radiant, pulling me down for a kiss that tasted of tea and truth. Sunday crept in too soon, her train looming like a thief. We walked the bridge over the East River, wind whipping hair across faces, words tumbling against the gale. Philly feels far, she said, hand tight in mine. But worth it. Every mile. Yeah, I agreed, the city sprawling below, a testament to persistence. It'll come again. Soon. Promise. She stopped mid-stride, turning to face me, wind tugging at her scarf. Marry me, she joked, but her eyes held a seriousness that stole my breath. In 10 years, when we're old and cranky. Deal, I laughed, but inside the seed took root, a future sketched in possibility. She boarded with a final kiss lingering deep, the platform blurring as the train pulled away. I stood there long after, waves and honks fading to echo the ache of absence, sharp but sweet. Weeks turned to months, the dance of distance familiar yet fresh. Holiday season descended, twinkling lights and chill air, our mothers plotting reunions at the lake house, oblivious to the undercurrent. Sophie arrived first, snow dusting her coat, her hug fierce, melting the winter in my veins. Dinner was a blur of toasts and tales, her foot nudging mine under the table, secret signals amid the chatter. Later, by the fire crackling low, she pulled me onto the rug, shadows dancing on logs. Remember our first summer here, she whispered, fingers tracing my jaw. Splashing, racing to the dock. I do, I breathed, leaning into her touch. You always won. Not this time, she murmured, rolling us so she hovered above, lips brushing mine. This time we tie. The kiss ignited, slow burn building to blaze, hands slipping under wool sweaters, skin fever hot against flannel. We moved quiet, mindful of sleeping houses, but urgent need driving, gasps muffled against shoulders. After in the afterglow tangled and sated she traced lazy circles on my hip. I love you, Chloe. Simple words but they landed heavy, profound, shifting the ground beneath us. I love you too, I whispered, tears pricking, unexpected, the depth of it overwhelming. Christmas morning brought gifts wrapped in newsprint, hers a sketchbook filled with us portraits, intimate moments captured in loving detail. Mine a necklace, delicate chain with a tiny coffee cup pendant, her laugh bright as she clasped it around her neck. Our mothers exchanged glances, knowing smiles hinting at suspicions, but they said nothing, letting the joy unfold. The new year dawned, crisp resolutions whispered over champagne. Sophie's was bold, a freelance leap, leaving the firm for her own studio, dreams deferred no more. Mine quieter, deeper, to trust the pull, to lean into love without reservation. We celebrated in Times Square, confetti raining down, bodies pressing close, her hand anchor in the crush, midnight kiss electric amid the cheers. Spring unfurled petals and promise, her studio thriving, commissions rolling in, vibrant life mirroring our own. I visited often, trains a bridge to her world, helping hang shows late nights with wine and canvas, her inspiration, my presence a muse unspoken. One April evening, rain lashing windows, she pulled me to the roof, garden containers overflowing with herbs. Look, she said, pointing skyward. Stars peeking through. Magic. We danced then barefoot on wet concrete, her leading waltzes, invented laughter mingling with drops. When she dipped me low, eyes locked intense, she whispered, future. See it. With me. Yeah, I breathed, pulling her down the rain, a veil around us, kisses fierce and claiming. But joy shadowed always. A call mid-May, her father worsening, tests grim, doctor's words like stones. She drove through tears, highways blurring, my voice on speaker steadying. I'll meet you there, I promised, booking the next train, heart heavy. The hospital was sterile, beeps and whispers, her hand cold in mine as we waited news. He's fighting, she said, voice cracking. But I'm scared, Chloe. So scared. I held her then in the hallway, fluorescent harsh against our grief, tears silent shared. You're strong, she murmured later in the dim room, his hand limp in hers. But we both are. Together. He rallied briefly, days of false hope, walks in the garden, her sketching by his bed, portraits of resilience. But summer solstice brought the end, quiet passing, moon high over the lake. The funeral was small, intimate eulogies choked with memory, her standing tall, voice steady, recounting adventures, fishing trips and bad jokes. After, in the house empty now, she curled into me on the porch swing, sobs racking deep and raw. Why am I soothed, rocking slow? Why now? I don't know, I whispered, but you're not alone. Never. Her grip tightened, anchor in storm, words failing but presence enough. Healing came, slow fragments of light amid gray. We scattered ashes on the water boat, rocking gentle, her hand in mine as petals floated goodbye. Back in Philly she threw herself into work, canvases exploding, color, grief transmuted to art. I stayed weeks, blending worlds, shifts, remote cafe duties, mornings with her, evenings tangled solace. One night, stars clear, she led me to the studio, easel draped. For you, she said, unveiling a piece, us intertwined, strokes bold and tender, lake in background eternal. It's us, she explained. Past, present, forever. I traced the lines, tears blurring beauty. Perfect, I breathed, kissing her, deep gratitude and love a balm. Fall returned, leaves aflame, our rhythm steady deeper. Mom hosted Thanksgiving table, groaning abundance, Sophie beside me, thigh pressed warm under linen, our mothers clinking glasses to family expanded. Walks after pie, digesting stories, shared, her hand in my pocket, fingers laced secret warmth. Winter whispered, change, her studio buzzing, opportunity, a gallery show in the city, big break, nerves electric. I helped prep, late nights packing, framing, her energy infectious, pride swelling chest. Opening night was magic, gowns and murmurs, her work shining, spotlight soft on her face as collectors circled. You did it, I whispered in the crowd, hand on her back. We did, she corrected, eyes meeting profound. Amid acclaim, a quiet moment, alcove, her pulling me close. Ready for more, she asked, voice low. Always, I replied, kiss ceiling packed, the city ours, canvas blank and bright. The gallery buzz lingered, weeks, reviews glowing, her name in lights, freelance empire solidifying, commissions from coasts. I beamed from afar, texts bursting pride, but distance nod sharper now, success pulling her west for meetings, LA sun calling. Visit soon, she promised, hotel lobbies echoing our goodbyes, kisses hurried against time. I did, spring break, sun-soaked beaches, her hotel suite, ocean view, waves crashing below. Days blurred, meetings skipped for hikes, trails winding, cliffs, her hand sweaty in mine, laughter echoing canyons. Evenings, room service, sunset dinners, balcony, her sketching me, nude lines quick and loving, body arching under gaze, familiar thrill. One dawn, fog rolling, she woke me, lips trailing collarbone. Run with me, she murmured, breath hot. Beach at sunrise. We jogged sand cool underfoot, gulls wheeling above her ponytail swinging rhythm to breaths. At the pier end she stopped panting, turning to me, eyes wild with sea spray. Marry me, Chloe. Not joke. Real. Heart-seized words tumbling. Yes, yes, God, yes. She hooped, lifting me, spin dizzy, joy bubbles, free ring later, simple band, silver etched with waves slipped on finger sealing vow. We called mothers, tears and squeals across lines, plans hazy but hearts full. LA faded backdrop to our bubble walks in Venice, hand in hand announcing quiet to friends, coffee runs, whispers, future. Back east summer sweltered, my shifts endless but glow internal beacon. Sophie planned whirlwind trips, scouting venues, lake house for ceremony, small intimate mothers officiating, friends scattering petals. I dreamed nights, her in white veil lifting slow reveal, kiss eternal. August heat peaked, her show in Chelsea, massive warehouse space, her largest yet. Opening was crush bodies, milling art, pulsing life, her in black dress, sleek, confident, mingling grace. I hovered edge, pride fierce, watching her shine, but twinge beneath envy, whisper, what about me, my dreams deferred in service to hers. Later amid cleanup crates stacked she found me, balcony overlooking Hudson. You okay, she asked, hand on nape, gentle probe. Yeah, I lied, voice tight. Just. Overwhelmed. She turned me face to hers, eyes searching deep. Talk. Please. Words spilled, then raw, unfiltered, the ache of standing still while she soared, fear of fading into support role, losing self in love. She listened, silent, tears tracking her cheeks. I'm sorry, she whispered, pulling close. I got caught up. The rush. But you're my center, Chloe. Without you, none of it. We sat, then legs dangling, edge city lights below, truths airing like smoke. I'll slow, she promised. Help you chase your cafe dream. Own it. Expand. Together. Relief flooded, sweet, her hand in mine packed, renewed. Next week's action plans sketched over, brunches, menus, dreamed roasts, perfected test batches in my kitchen, flour dusted kisses. She invested quiet nest egg from sales, studio space, downtown hybrid cafe, art hub, vision, shared excitement, electric. Fall harvest brought launch, soft opening, friends sampling pastries, her posters gracing walls. Nerves fluttered, opening day line snaking block, her hand squeezing mine behind counter. You got this, she murmured, lips brushing ear. We do. And we did, laughter filling air, steam rising, harmony scents mingling, coffee and canvas. Success bloomed, steady regulars chatting, her designs commissioned on mugs, my scones lauded, reviews trickling praise. Balance shifted, equal now, days blending shifts and sketches, evenings home, her loft now ours, boxes unpacked, lives intertwined. Winter solstice ceremony loomed, invitations etched, simple lake frozen beauty. December skilby tre skallstock motors fussing bokets evergrens. Sophie fidgeted, nerves raw, her dress ivory lace soft against snow. You're beautiful, I breathed, fitting veil, hands trembling. She smiled, eyes glassy. So are you. My everything. Day dawned, crisp, sun glinting, ice guests bundled, arriving boats chugging across water. Vows exchanged, simple, profound, hers voice steady, I choose you, Chloe, every dawn, every storm. Mine choked tears, I see you, Sophie, all your light, your shadows. I love you, fierce and forever. Rings exchanged, kiss sealing, cheers, erupting petals, swirling wind. Reception bonfire, crackling toasts, warm dances, slow, her leading waltz, snow falling soft. Later alone, boathouse blankets piled, she pulled me close. Wife, she whispered, testing word, lips curving. Yeah, I sighed, content. Yours. Honeymoon, whispered, South Keys, sun-soaked keys, hammock swaying. Days lazy reading, beaches, her sketching, waves, me brewing, beachside coffee, sand, gritty mugs. Nights, tangled sheets, ceiling fan, whirring, her body, familiar map, explored a new size, mingling with surf. Spring returned, greening world, our cafe thriving, expansion plans sketched, patios, gardens, art walks. Sophie taught workshops, brushes and beans, blending worlds, patrons creating, sipping. I experimented roasts, exotic blends, her palate judge nods, approving, kisses reward. But joy tempered test, small phrase schedules clashing, late nights, her deadlines, my inventory, exhaustion fraying edges. One evening argument sparked, trivial, burnt batch, escalating voices raised, accusations flying, self-absorbed, blind to strain. Door slammed, her leaving, rain lashing streets, my sobs echoing empty. Hours later, key turned, her drenched, returning, eyes red. I'm sorry, she choked, arms opening. I pushed too hard. Forgot us. I crossed floor, colliding, embrace wet and desperate. Me too, I whispered. Scared of breaking. We want, she vowed, holding tight. Well, bend. Learn. Therapy followed, sessions, raw peeling layers, old wounds, family shadows, doubts unearthed. Progress slow but steady dates intentional sunsets packed picnics her sketches my stories reconnection deep. Summer peak brought milestone cafe anniversary party block closed bands playing her mural unveiling vibrant as entwined. Speeches short hers voice thick this place. This life. Because of you Chloe. My partner my muse. Cheers rose tears flowing dance floor packed her pulling me close sway slow world fading. Fall deepened colors rich challenges new investor pitch nerves twin presentations her designs my pitch deck united front. Success landed funding flowing expansions dreamed hires trained community blooming. Winter wrapped cozy holidays blended families lake house full laughter toasts to growth. New Year's Eve balcony champagne her hand on belly subtle curve. Surprise she smiled eyes sparkling. Baby. Ours. Shock joy tears cascaded hug fierce. Yes yes life new chapter dawning. Pregnancy unfolded wonder scans and kicks her nesting studio cleared nursery palette soft. I adapted menu kid friendly her commissions family themed portraits glowing. Challenges nausea midnight runs but love deepened bond unbreakable. Birth spring storm raging her grip vice breath synced pushing life into world cry piercing storm. Daughter tiny fierce eyes blue like hers fingers clutching mine. Welcome Lila we whispered tears mingling. Our miracle. Years wove tapestry swift Lila toddling chaos curls wild her sketches crayons walls her bruised tiny mugs pretend. Cafe evolved hub community classes mommy and me art circles her leading me serving smiles shared exhaustion sweet laced with giggles. Challenges ebbed flowed teething fevers deadlines clashing but unity anchor date nights babysitters rare her hand mine theaters dim talks deep reconnecting flames banked but burning. Mothers doted grandma spoiling Lila stories lake house summers splashing echoes past. Sophie thrived gallery shows national her name whispered awards plaques shelf but grounded home dinners family table her sketches Lila's homework doodles. I expanded second location upstate weekends family trips forests hikes her back carrier pointing birds wonder wide eyes. One autumn leaf peeping drive tension simmered work piling home demands Lila school starting anxieties bubbling. Argument flared kitchen voices hushed but sharp her accusing neglect me snapping back resentment old ghost. Silence heavy her leaving studio late I pacing floors regret gnawing. Morning dawn she returned coffee peace offering eyes soft. Talk we did raw honest fears aired dreams deferred again balance sought. Changes followed schedules synced help hired playdates shared burdens lightened love mending. Milestone Lila's 10th birthday lake house full cousins boats races her cake iced wonky but loved. Evening bonfire stories ghost tales shivers her arm around us warmth circle tight. Later bed porch swing her head shoulder. We're good she murmured. Better. Yeah I agreed kiss soft stars witness. Adventures called road trip cross country route 66 diners quirky her camera clicking landscapes me navigating maps Lila backseat songs belted. Stops Grand Canyon struck her sketching rims vast me holding hand silence profound. Cities blurred jazz clubs New Orleans beignet sticky her dance pulling me floor abandon free. Challenges shadowed cancer scare moms routine check shadow lifting relief tears but reminder fragility. We rallied meals frozen drives appointments her hand mom steady stories laughter defiance. Sophie book deal illustrations words woven tales queer families journeys like ours. Launch reading packed her voice steady pages turning hearts open mind front row pride swelling. Signing line fans gushing her glancing me wink secret our story core. Lila teen now questions swirling identity talks late her room posters bands crushes forming. We navigated gentle her confiding first love boy then girl fluidity grace Sophie sharing youth sketches hidden. Pride swelled my girl brave world big. Empty nest loomed college visits campuses green her teary drop off hugs fierce. Home quiet then us reclaiming space travels Europe cafes Paris her sketching Eiffel me sipping espresso memories layered. Homecomings deeper touches lingered dinners candlelit sparks reignited nights rediscovery bodies known but new. Silver wedding lake frozen vows renewed mothers aged but spry friends toasting journeys. Dance floor her leading still waltz graceful whispers love enduring. Later ice under stars her hand cold but heart warm. Forever she said eyes crinkling. And beyond I replied kiss sealing eternity. Years gilded soft Lila visits grad school artist like her show small but shining partner kind hand held. Grandkids came unexpected joy tiny feet pattering cafe corners her nana stories illustrated books treasured. Twilight settled slow aches joints but spirits bright travel slowed porch sits sketches faded but eyes sharp. One evening sunset painting sky fire she pulled me close. Best life she whispered breath ragged. You made it. Us I corrected, tears pricking. Always. Passing gentle her sleep peaceful, my vigil hand clasped sketches bedside legacy vast. Grief wave crashing but light filters memories buoy. Cafe endures now Lila's touch murals her mother's grace community woven tight. Years later I sit lake house swing creek familiar sketchpad hers open lines us eternal. Wind whispers jasmine ink love story told in sighs and stares humanistic echo what remains connection beyond flesh ripples infinite. Lila arrives grandkids toe hugs fierce. Grandma she says eyes like hers. Tell us again. The story. I smile opening pad words flowing hook strong pull deep. Once upon a midnight door creaked open and there she was. Heart slamming everything cracking wide. And that my dears was just the beginning.